wonderful and a blessed morning, beginning of the work week for some, beginning of the week for others, and a new day, and opportunity for somebody. I am praying for everybody. Nobody tells me that God loves you, Christ loves you, and I love you as well. I'm praying for you guys. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, the Taking Home Podcast, where I talk about professional wrestling topics. And I'll put on my matches as classic alpha professional wrestler of 13 years. Will be 14 years and 2 months in March. So if the Lord see me there, I will be happy and elated. And I'm happy now. Make sure you subscribe to the Taking Home Podcast, where I talk about professional wrestling topics. I said it already. Bloopers. Make sure you subscribe to C3 Ultimate Wrestling, where I put up my matches and the matches of others from the company C3 Ultimate Wrestling. That is me and my wife's professional wrestling company. We had a whole bunch of shows last year, and we had years from years before and years prior. Make sure you look at them, look at the playlist. I have a playlist of each show of the matches that may not be in order, but make sure you look at it. We've been doing it for a long time. It'll be 7 years. It's actually 7 years, basically next week. 7 years will be 7 years of C3 Ultimate Wrestling. So I thank God for that. It's definitely been dope. While we're in a C3 mood, make sure you buy tickets for Big Business, February 21st, 2026, in Dyer, Indiana. Harold's private venue. Make sure you get your tickets on Eventbrite. They're $5 off, but they'll be available, but they'll be $5 more at the door. God bless you. I'm good. Everything's been great. How are you doing? What can both companies, WWE and AEW, what can they learn from each other? Honestly, one of them is one could learn how to not do something, and then the other one could learn how to do something. So with WWE, excuse me, WWE, I think WWE can afford to kind of cater to the fans. I'm not sitting here saying you got to get them what they want, but I do think that you can kind of cater to the fans a little bit more. I do understand you guys have the powers that be that kind of have a influence. You have The Rock and stuff like that, but you can't just force stuff and all of that. You know what I'm saying? I do think that you can cater to people a bit more. I don't see a problem with that. I'm not sitting here saying you got to listen to the internet comments, because the internet is not everybody's opinion. But at the same time, that you deny people feel good moments for profit, and the profit is already made. It's already made. Like, the money is already in the bank. It's already in the vault. It's already in a code, a numbered code. Like, you guys can afford, and they know they can afford to do these kind of things. When Triple H says the stuff about earning it and talent, and then you see a lot of people who are of color, or other people, don't even have to be, like LA Knight, who's very, very talented and stuff like that. And it's like they are not getting the just due or even the opportunities. They're being contenders and stuff like that. And you see that Sami Zayn may be on his way to being a champion by WrestleMania. He may be. I don't know. It's looking like it. WWE does do a thing where they'll make people say something and then they never follow up with it. But still, WWE can do something that AEW does, though. The AEW has a thing of listening to people and trying to have feel-good moments and stuff like that. Now, I will flip to AEW and say I think AEW tries to give people what they want too many times, and I don't think it works. MJF was two-time world champion, right? Congrats to him. But at the same time, the fans in the arena, they are cheering, and some of them online are cheering too. But this is not something that's going to help the company in the long haul. AEW gives the fans what they want more times than WWE, and at the same time, it doesn't help an increase in the fans. See, AEW does a thing where it's like holding water in your hand, right? You can have a lot of it, but then eventually it trickles out. So what you're trying to do is you're still trying to hold on to as much water as you can, instead of trying to bring more water in or having people, different stars and stuff like that, contribute to it. Adam Copeland shows up and he helps maybe slightly and stuff like that. And things like that are very, very important, right? Edge and Moxley are having a match, and people consider it, excuse me, people consider that one of the worst matches of 2025 was him and Copeland, because of Christian's involvement and then the match in general. So That's something to also think about when we think about these kind of things. You know, people wanted to see Copeland and Moxley. I know people are going to turn around and renege and say, no, we didn't. Yes, y'all did. Y'all wanted Copeland to go against new guys. Y'all wanted Copeland to go against the younger people and stuff like that. And low-key, Copeland didn't really lose to a lot of people. Y'all wanted this. Y'all wanted this. Y'all wanted this. And that's what happened. And then everybody was just like, Copeland is just like these other guys who are very old. They don't want to put the younger talent over. They just want to collect a paycheck. And that's exactly how it happened. That's exactly how it happened with certain things. If Tony is saying, hey, I'm going to give you money and you're not going to lose a lot, and Copeland says yes, I'm not really mad or upset at Copeland. But this is the thing that y'all talk about, is that y'all want people to help the younger people. But then he went over there and he kind of was doing some stuff. You know, I can give credit to Punk. I can give credit to Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, whatever his name is now. But still, when you have these kind of guys that come in and take over stuff, that's the thing. But that's what the internet wanted. That's what everybody said. Oh my gosh, Edge is in AEW. He's all elite. He's about to change stuff. He's about to change the landscape. And beside it being like a shocker, he ain't even there right now. He took a break or whatever he's doing. What are my predictions on SmackDown? I don't know. I don't know what's showing up for SmackDown. I usually don't look at the previews until like the day of, so I don't know. I know Drew should open the show as the champion. I know people made jokes talking about Cody gonna cut a promo talking about his dad is Dusty Rhodes, which is crazy. I hope he don't do that. But still, going back into it, AEW does have a problem trying to make everything a feel-good moment, and it's to the point that it's not helping nobody. So sometimes you can't say no. WWE says no too much. AEW says yes too much. And I do think that is a problem with the AEW lore. I mean, MJF is going to be cheered regardless if he's a good guy or a bad guy. He's going to be booed regardless if he's a bad guy. You know, people love him and they like him because he does stand out next to these other people. He stands out. But at the same time, AEW, their problem is they continue to just do things and think that it's just going to stick to the wall. Why couldn't MJF just beat Adam Page? Why couldn't he beat Adam Page? Sorry, guys. Why couldn't he beat Adam Page? Why did Samoa Joe have to beat Adam Page and then MJF beats three guys, Swerve, Page, and Joe, in a fatal four-way? Why couldn't he just beat Page? Because now they're going to say they're trying to save Page and MJF because everybody wants to see it. And to each their own, but still. But going back to the WWE side, WWE just does a thing where it's just like, okay, just follow us. You know, The Rock said it. You know, Triple H kind of alluded to it. And even Cena, like, who cares? Like that who cares thing was just the worst thing that Cena could have said. Who cares? The fans care. They do care. That's the thing. I will say that's what they need to learn from AEW is kind of listen to what the fans are saying. I'm not saying you got to do 100%. The Rock said, is it pink? I don't know what that means. But, you know, who cares? Like when Cena says, who cares? Mind you, this is his retirement tour. Who cares? Who cares? Just enjoy. And even The Rock, hey, just enjoy the ride that we're taking you on. And it's like, no, because y'all are taking us places we don't want to go. I'll take you there. I don't want to go there. Y'all going to certain things, and it's just like because the money is already made. And that's the bad thing sometimes about making money or having contracts is that because since you already have the money, you're going to act up. You're going to do whatever you want. You guys know I'm a broken record. Well, heck, a record play the same, so I don't know how you guys be broken. Same thing with Toys R Us. Toys R Us is making all this money. Record, exclusive stuff, people coming in. Toys R Us all the time, getting toys, getting the new stuff. All of a sudden, Amazon Prime and Walmart started expanding the toy aisle. Remember Walmart, I'm old. Remember Walmart used to only have like an aisle for toys. And it used to be by the bikes. Then they made it 2 aisles. Then they made it a whole department. Had cheaper prices, also had exclusive toys. That was the seller for Toys R Us was its exclusivity, right? They started losing that. Then Amazon, online stuff. Toys R Us had an online service, but it was slow, it was old school, and it needed to be updated and stuff like that. They didn't do rain checks, they didn't do price matches, they didn't do none of this stuff. And then eventually the company wound up folding and going under. Now, do I think that WWE is going to be like Toys R Us? Of course not. I don't think that that's going to happen. I think that WWE has secured money with the deals. TKO wants to sell it after they get rid of their debt. They can do that. WWE is not going to be something that closes down soon. But still, I do think that is two things that one thing that both of them can do. WWE can cater to the fans a little bit, and I think AEW can say no and do some things that build up on people. But I did want to speak about that briefly. I am at work. I hope you guys and gals have a great day. Let's talk about this in the chat. This is Chris Classic. Let's take it home.